Welcome friends and students to Alpha G channel. Today we are going to look at how to solve quadratic equation by completing the square method. How to solve quadratic equation using completing the square method. This is another topic in mathematics that normally gives students headache, a bit of challenge. But today I'm going to show you 6 steps on how to handle any problem on quadratic equation using completing the square method. I will solve the general one. After that, we'll now solve normal quadratic equation. Now, the first thing we are going to look at is this. Now, assuming we are asked to solve this type of equation, let me just give you the general form of quadratic equation. If you are asked to solve ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Remember that this is the general form of quadratic equation. So today we are going to solve this particular problem using completing the square method. So I will introduce 6 steps. Please don't be scared. This particular problem is a bit difficult because we don't have numbers. We only have alphabets. So it makes it look a bit more complex. But when we solve the second example, you'll be able to understand it better. Right? Now, using completing the square method. Alright. So let's take this as our example 1. Now I want to solve this problem using completing the square method. So step 1. Divide through by coefficient of x squared. Divide through by coefficient of x squared. So you are going to divide everything by coefficient. This is x squared. The coefficient of x squared is a. So divide through by coefficient of x squared, which is what? A. So if we do that, we are going to have ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So we are dividing everything by a. That is our step 1. So if we do that, this equation will now change to x squared plus b over a x plus c over a equal to 0. 0 divided by a is what? 0. Now, we move to step 2. Step 2 says move the constant to the right hand side. Move the constant to the right hand side. So we are going to move. Now the constant is the particular term without variable x. There is variable s here. There is variable x here. So there is no variable x here. So automatically this is our constant. So we are going to move it to this side. We are going to move this one to this side. So the expression will now change to x squared plus b over ax equal to minus c over what? A. Why is it minus? Crossing the sign of equality comes to what? Minus, right? Now we move to step 3. Step 3 says add half coefficient of x to add half coefficient of x squared to both sides. Alright, let's explain that one. Now, this is x squared. This is x. Coefficient of x means the number or fraction, whole number fraction any number that is attached to x is called the coefficient of what? X. They say we should add half of its square, that we should add it to this side and this side. So let me just bring it out. Now, coefficient, this is what we have there is what? B over ax. Now we call this the coefficient of ax. Coefficient of x. Any value or number, fraction attached to x is called the coefficient of what? X. So this is our coefficient. They say add half coefficient of x. Half of it means you multiply by 1 over 2, or you can say b over a divided by 2, right? So half of it means multiply by 1 over 2, or you just say b over a divided by 2, which is what? B over 2a. That will give you the half. Or you just divide it by 2, or you multiply by half. That's another way of looking for the coefficient of what? X. It's either you multiply by half or you divide by 2. So that will give us half. They said we should square it. So if we square it, we have this. And we add it to both sides of the equation. So this is coefficient of x. This is half of it. And when you square it, you have this. So we are going to add it to this side of the equation and this side of the equation. So let's do that quickly. So if we do that, we are going to have x squared plus b over ax plus b over 2a squared, right, equal to minus c over 2a plus b over 2a. So this is what we have. So this is what we have. Can you see it? Right. So this is half coefficient of x. We have added it to this side and to this side of the equation. So the next thing we are going to do is we simplify the right hand side, right? So let me rewrite it so that you can see it there. So we have x squared plus b over ax plus b over 2a squared is equal to, so we want to simplify this side. So if we simplify it, it will be, we're going to take the square of b and 2a. So we have minus c over 2a plus b squared will give us b squared, 2a squared, 2 squared is 4, a squared is a squared. So that will now be b squared over 4a squared. Right? So next we are going to do, let us call it step 3, is to simplify this right hand side and see what we are going to get. So step 3, or step 4, sorry. So simplify the right hand side. So you are going to simplify the right hand side. So let's bring it out and simplify, then after we put it back to the equation. So the right hand side we have minus c over 2a plus b squared over 4a squared. So we want to simplify this. So to simplify it, we look for the LCM of sorry, I think there is a mix up somewhere. So this is c over a. I don't know how we obtain the c over a here, so I'm going to remove it. There is no minus c over a here. There is not 2a. Minus c over 2a here, and there is no minus c. It's supposed to be just minus c over a. Take note of that. I just observed that now. Alright, okay, now let's proceed. Now, we want to solve this fraction. What do? We look for the LCM of a and 4a squared. LCM of a and 4a squared. So let us quickly look at the LCM. How to find the LCM of this and this. So to find the LCM, we are going to look at it. So LCM, we have LCM. So we have a and 4a squared. So we want to look for the LCM of the denominator. LCM of this denominator and this denominator. Let's see what we are going to get. Right? So a and 4a squared is divisible by a. So we have a, right? So a into this we have 1. A divided by a squared we have 4a. A can still go. A into this we have 1, into this we have 4. Can you see it? Now what we have left is what? 4. Or we can even use 2. So we can say 2 we have 1, 2, 1 we have 1, 1, 2 we have 1, 1. So this is what we have. So if we multiply it, it will be A times A square times 2, 2A square times 2, 4A square. So therefore LCM of A and 4A square will give us what? 4A squared, right? Okay. Okay, now we now divide. A divided by 4A squared divided by A will give us what? 4A. 4A squared divided by A. This we cancel this, we have what? 4A, right? So 4A times minus C will give us minus 4AC. I will not emphasize on this more because I already have a video on how to solve fractions. So if you don't understand fractions, go back to my video and check on simplification of fraction. You will see how to handle this particular problem. So let's proceed. 4A squared divided by 4A squared will give us 1 times B will give us what? B squared. So if we rearrange it, it will be B squared minus 4AC over 4A squared. So that is what we have. So if we simplify the right hand side, we will get this. If you simplify this, it will give us this. So let's go back again to our problem. So our problem is this. So we have x squared plus b over ax plus b over 2a square equal to, so we are going to replace the whole of this by this. So if we do that, we have b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. So we have simplified the right hand side. This is what we have. Now the next thing we are going to do is to factorize the left hand side. That is step number 5. Step 5. Factorize the left hand side. So we are going to factorize this side. Now the easiest way or the short way of doing it is just bring this square and this square together and take their common square, right? This one has a square, this one has a square. Just bring them, add them together and take their common square. So that will be x plus b over 2a all square. All square, right? So if you expand this, you will get this. Automatically you will get this. So to find the factorization of this one, all you just need to do is to take this square and this square, bring them together and take their common square. So it means that if you expand this particular problem, you will get exactly this, right? So we proceed. Now the next thing we are going to do now is to move to step 6. And step 6 says that we should factorize or take the square root of both sides. So step 6, we are done with this. So we equate it to b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. So this is what we have now. So the next thing we are going to do is step 6. We're a bit close to the answer. Don't worry about this particular step. It looks complex because we are dealing with A, B, and C. When I change it with numbers now, you see the difference. Okay? Now, so take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. Right? So if we take the square root of the left hand side, we have x plus b over 2a. If we take the square root of the right hand side, we have b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. So this is what we have. By taking the square root of both sides, you see what we have. So this will take care of this and this, right? So the rule of sorts. I also have a video on sorts, so please feel free to watch the video on sorts, which says that if you have root a over b, that is the same thing as what? Root a divided by root b. Remember, so we're going to apply that rule here. If you don't understand this, please check the rules of sorts. It's still on my channel, you will see it there. So we're going to apply this principle or this rule here. So if we do that, this expression will change to x plus b over 2a is equal to square root of b square minus 4ac over square root of 4a square. So this will now give us please, if you take the square roots anytime you are solving an algebraic an equation, please always remember to put the plus and minus sign. Very important. Very important. Always remember to put the plus and minus what? Sign. Right? So we have plus and minus of this. Okay? So now, square root, if you square 4, you get 2. If you square a square, you get a, right? So this expression will now change to plus and minus square root of b square minus 4ac, everything divided by square root of 4, we have 2, a square, we have what? A. So x, we're going to move this one, b over 2a, to the right hand side. So it will now change to x is equal to minus b over 2a plus and minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by what? 2a. Can you see that? Yeah, very simple. So remember in mathematics, let me explain something. If you have a over b plus c over b, is the same thing as a plus c over what? B. Yes, they are the same, right? So if you divide this, you can move to this. So you can move from this to this, it doesn't matter. So if we apply this principle here, with this, our equation or formula will now change to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by, sorry, I think I'll be omitting the 4ac here. So I think I've corrected that now. This 4ac, 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 4ac divided by what? 2a. So this is what you call the quadratic what? Formula. So if you solve the general form of quadratic equation using completing the square method, you are going to get what? The quadratic what? Formula. Although this may look a bit complex, but believe me, when we solve the second one, you will see the difference. So let's move straight and solve the second problem without any delay. So remember the steps, about 6 of them. Remember these 6 steps. You can watch the video over and over again until you master the 6 steps and use it to solve any quadratic problem by completing the square method, right? So we are going to look at our example 2, how to solve this same problem using completing the square method, right? So step 1 says that we should do what? Divide through by coefficient of s squared. Divide through by coefficients of x squared. Divide through by coefficient of x squared. So this is x squared, this is the coefficient of x squared. So we are going to divide everything here by 6. So this will be 6x over 6 minus 17x over 6 plus 12 over 6 equal to 0 over 6. So everything here will give us x squared minus 17 over 6x plus 2 equal to 0. So move to the step 2, which says that we should move the constant to the right hand side. Move step 2. Move the constants to the right hand side. So anyone that doesn't have x will be moved to this side. So if we do that, we have x squared minus 17 over 6 x is equal to minus 2, right? So we have moved that. So we can move to step 3. We can move to step 3, which says that we will add half coefficient of x squared to both sides of the equation. Step 3. Add half coefficient of x squared to both sides. So if we do that, we have x squared minus 17 over 6x plus minus 17. Okay, let me show you. Now coefficient of x squared is minus 17 over 6, right? Half of it you can say times 1 over 2, which is minus 17 over 12. So this is half of it squared. That is what it means. So that we should add it to the left hand side and to the right hand side. So this is what we are going to add to both sides of this equation. So we add it to this side, also add it to this side, right? We also add it to this side and see what we are going to get. So we are going to add minus 17 over 12 to both sides. 17 over 12 squared to both sides. So this is minus 2 plus minus 17 over 12 squared. So this is what we have. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is introduce the next step, step 4. Say we should simplify the right hand side. Simplify the right hand side. So what they mean by simplify the right hand side simply means that we should just solve this fraction here. So if we solve this fraction, we are going to get okay, let's open this bracket first. We have minus 2 plus minus 17 square will give us 289. 12 square will give us 144. Right? So this over 1. So if we solve this fraction, it's going to be minus 288 plus 289 divided by 144. Please, if you don't understand fraction, you can simply watch my video on simplification of fraction on this same channel. Okay? So minus 288 plus 289 will give us 1 over 144. So if we simplify this, we'll get this. So we have x squared minus 17 over 6x, please there is square on this one, plus minus 17 over 12 squared will give us 1 over 144. Can you see it? Alright, so this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do is to simplify the left hand side or factorize the left hand side. So we are going to factorize this side. How do you factorize this side? Very simple. Don't go and start doing factorization method, this, that. No. All you need to do is, this one has a square. There is a square here. There is a square here. So bring the two terms together and take their common square. Right? So this is x. This is minus 17 over 12. So we bring them together. X minus 17 over 12. Since there is square attached to them, square. So that is how to factorize this. It means that if you expand this, you will get exactly this. So you can try that at home and see whether you'll be able to expand this to get this. But very simple. If you're asked to factorize the left hand side, all you need to do is to take the sum of this square and this square. You take their sum and take their common square. So please let me write the step that we are using now. We have just moved to step 5. Step 5. So this is take or factorize the left hand side. So I say if you factorize it, all you just need to do is bring these two terms together and take their common square. And take their common square. So what it means that if you expand this, you get exactly this, and is equal to 1 over 144. So that is what we have now. So we move to the last step, which is step 6. So we move to the last step, which is step 6, where we have step 6 says take the square root of both sides. So we are going to take the square root of x minus 17 over 12 square, and also take the square root of, once you take the square root of this function, you put the plus and minus sign and take the square root of 1 over 144. So this square root will take care of the square. Okay? Can you see it? So this square root will take care of the square. And if you take the square root of 1, it will give you 1. Take the square root of 144, it will give you what? 12. So we have x minus 17 over 12. Okay? So now we are going to move this number here because we are solving for x. Since we are solving for x, we are going to move minus 17 over 12 to the right hand side. So x is equal to 17 over 12 minus, crossing the sign of equality, we have 12 plus or minus 1 over 12, right? So it means that this is equal to 17 plus 1 over 12, or 17 minus 1 over 12. So x is equal to 18 over 12, or 16 over 12. So this will give us 3 can go. 3 into 12 we have 4, into this we have 6. So this will give us 3 over 2. And this one will give us 4 can go. 4 into this we have 4. Into this we have what? 3. So we have 3 over 4. Or 4 over 3. I think 4 over 3. Okay. Yes, 4 into 12 is 3, into 16 is what? 4. So this is what we have for, x. So let me write it up where you can see it clearly. Alright. So it means that x is equal to 18 over 12, or 16 over 12. So this will give us 3 over 2, or 4 over 3. Alright. Thank you. Remember to subscribe to our channel. And if you still have any problem or suggestion, you can feel free to comment on our channel. And if you have any topic in mind that you think that you don't really understand, that you like us to treat it for you, please feel free to also do that in our channel. Remember to like our channel as well. Thank you. See you next time.